Welcome to SimCity. My name is Dr. Wright and I'll be your guide and teacher as you set out to create bustling cities or sprawling urban wastelands. As mayor, the choice is yours, so let's start off by destroying Tokyo. Studies show that 9 out of 10 new mayors begin their careers with a frenzy of destruction, using monsters, earthquakes, and other disasters to reduce their cities to rubble. After that's out of your system, we'll move on to the real challenge of building a thriving metropolis. If you want to skip the rubble, turn to page 8 of your report. So what is a SimCity? Simply put, it is a simulated city. Almost everything that happens in a real city happens in SimCity too. Buildings are built, traffic gets jammed, and people complain about taxes. As years pass, stores become skyscrapers and workshops become factories. It looks as if the city has a life of its own, but as mayor, it's your job to make it grow. Graphs and maps help you pinpoint trouble areas. Then roll up your sleeves and start bulldozing and building. The main goal is to build a megalopolis with 500,000 Sim citizens. There are also scenarios where you solve the problems of the existing cities. That's it. It's time to settle in, get a lay of the land, and build a city that will grow and prosper for many years. Welcome to SimCity.
Welcome to Retrotopia, a podcast about old games that Sam and I used to play, or wanted to play, or miss when we were young.
Yep, and today we're discussing the Super Nintendo version of SimCity, a classic construction and management city building game by Will Wright.
But before we discuss the game, we like to chat a little bit. So Sam, what would you do if you were the mayor of your city?
I'll probably burn it down, which is kind of what I did.
Absolutely, just right to the ground, just every building, like children screaming, dogs running out of the town.
Yeah, I would get bitter if like my approval rating was a little lower than I thought it should be. It's like I'm busting my fucking ass for you people, and yeah, I don't think maybe I wouldn't be a very good real life mayor because I'd get
probably not. Like one person comes out there's like, yeah, you're doing an okay job, and next thing you know, you have like the Gestapo police there breaking into their house and dragging them out in the middle of the night.
Yeah, like
nobody talks to the mayor that way, man.
Like chasing someone down for like a bad Yelp review and taking them to task for it.
Our society is collapsing in on itself and nobody's doing anything about it.
No. It's just...
Oh, man, no. If I was the mayor of this city, I would get rid of the government. That's the first thing I'd do. But I'm in a government town, so.
Yeah, it's like, do you listen to Tenacious D at all? You ever hear that song City Hall? That was...
Oh, my God, yeah. I love that song. That's such a good song, but yeah. Oh, man, I know exactly what you're talking about. Just... Yeah, him and Kyle Gass just destroying the entirety of society.
That's basically what I did in the Sims in SimCity this week.
Not on purpose, of course.
Sure.
You wanted to be a good mayor, but they kept complaining. I want more roads. The citizens demand a stadium.
Yeah. Did they?
Yeah.
Because I built
always demand a stadium. Oh God, that's so annoying. But we'll get into it.
Yeah. How was your week? How was your past week, Brian?
Oh, it wasn't too bad. I can't complain, It's turned into a meme of its own, but I quit my job. I have a pension, so I have a lot of free time in my hands, and I've been using it going back to school and stuff like that. And it's just, I don't know, being a student again is kind of a weird experience, especially when you have to run into young people nowadays. And
yeah,
I'm bringing old school ideologies into the new school way of thinking, so I'm learning.
Yeah.
How about you, Sam?
Well, it's the new year and our offices are back open where I work, and yeah, so we've been encouraged to go in more, which is like you need to go in more basically. So I've been going.
And how did they get you to go in more, Sam? You've told me.
Oh yeah, my the incentive that was designed just for me. This the folks in the Discord will know this already because I posted a picture or two, but there is a bright, shiny company branded arcade cabinet that's like got a full ass emulator inside it, and it has all kinds of arcade games I just discovered. There's Game Boy Advance games on there, so I was scrolling through and found all the Final Fantasy, like the GBA Final Fantasies, which is like kind of fucking ridiculous for an arcade cabinet in a corporate break room.
Like, yeah, seriously, you got a 15-minute break. Here's a 60-hour epic game.
Yeah, it's like Final Fantasy Tactics. Sure. Yeah, I'll sit down and play that for 80 hours.
That'll be
Uh
the end of your friggin' job.
yeah, so I gotta steer clear of that a little bit. Plus, people do sometimes have like little meetings in the coffee room, and I was playing a game 1943 for an upcoming episode, and the buttons click really loud, so I just kind of played for like maybe 5 minutes and kind of put it down, and then I was just like, sorry for the clicking buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Either deal with it or get rid of the arcade and put it in my house, right?
yeah, he's just like, I can take this off your hands, no problem, for sure.
I saw one of those at GameStop. I don't know if it's the same brand or anything, but it's an arcade machine they've put in there, and it has a Raspberry Pi emulator on it. So Raspberry Pi being just like kind of a mini computer,
Yeah.
and the software being the emulator. And the only problem was somebody broke the joystick, so you couldn't actually use it. But it looked actually pretty neat. They had Super Nintendo and Sega games on there, so
Are
I
those legal
considered
to
it.
sell at a GameStop?
Was that?
What are those legal to sell at a GameStop? I always wonder about the
I have
legality
no
of that.
idea. I mean, you're selling the arcade machine, and I think the games that are preloaded on it are like freeware or whatever.
Okay.
So obviously, they're not going to sell something that's going to break copyright law. Otherwise, GameStop would lose the $5 they have left in their account.
Yeah, they would overdraw based on that.
That's where they're going to die is the overdraft fees.
Yeah.
Except for President Joe Biden just got rid of them.
Oh, overdraft fees?
Or something like that. I don't know. I saw like a little news clip on Reddit there.
Yeah, they're
Apparently, he's
bullshit.
done something to stop those predatory, like, oh, you don't have money? Well, here's a $35 charge.
Well, right. Yeah, it gets bad. Like, not to get into the weeds or whatever, but yeah, they're pretty shitty. It's
Yeah, we're the
basically
same way. Like, we
yeah.
like to mimic the United States up here in Canada. So when you
Yeah, you
guys have
gotta.
shitty
It's like
things, we
you like
like
to
to
charge people.
import that. Yeah.
Yeah, charge
Nothing
people
says
money for being
you're going
poor.
to be poor forever like being charged for money you don't have.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
you're poor, then we're gonna charge you money for that.
Exactly. All right. If you want to join in on the conversation, you can reach us at Twitter at Retropod, or sorry,
Twitter.
Retrotopia Pod, email at retrotopiapodcast@gmail.com, or leave a comment on Spotify Podcasts, or join us in our Discord by following the link in the podcast description. All right. Oh yeah, we crossed out a whole bunch of lines in our notes. Well, I did.
Yeah,
What have you been playing, Sam?
yeah,
Let's before we
yeah.
get into the
Like,
game, let's talk about that.
yeah. Follow the notes and
Yeah.
skip a few lines there. What have we been playing? What have I been playing? I have been playing SimCity. Um, so I've been playing that for the last week or so, and then got really into Final Fantasy 3 for an upcoming episode, and I'm really enjoying that pixel remaster. It's quite
Oh,
fun.
I really liked it when I played it. And I'm gonna play it again before we talk about it at the end of February there. But
It's great. I'm
oh, it
so
was
excited.
fantastic. And I saw you posted a picture, and there's a little bit of a spoiler that you kind of leave the first world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that blew my mind as well. That was a great friggin' thing.
Yeah, because I was thinking like, as I was playing it, I was like, yeah, one knock I'd have on this game is that the world is kind of small. And then like that happened, I was like, shut the fuck up. No way.
Yeah,
No
yeah. It was my
way.
first thought. I was like, well, it's a Nintendo game, so obviously they had limited space. And then all of a sudden, this new world shows up, and like, no,
Yeah. And it's like, I
have
don't
to
even
switch
care
to
that it's
part two.
yeah, it's like I don't care that it's kind of empty. It's just really cool.
Yeah, it was kind of a twist I liked.
Yeah.
But that's for the end of February.
Yes. Yes. So
Uh,
we got plenty of games to go before we get there, but I've
oh yeah,
definitely been
including the
enjoying my time with it. How about you?
stellar game that's coming up next week, which we'll get into at the end of the show.
Yeah, what have you been playing?
Finished Lufia 2 finally. First time I've ever played through that game. It was a shit ton of fun. Somebody recommended it to me from one of my friends on the Discord, and it lived up. It was really good. And other than that, just SimCity, some 1943. And I've been trying to get through Final Fantasy VII Remake again, so I sat down last night for the first time in about 2 weeks and actually played a little bit of that. So it's been pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, I've been actually I've been jonesing to get back into Final Fantasy VII Remake. I didn't I was playing it, quite a bit, and then I moved over the summer and just didn't pick it back up. So I didn't get that far into it. I think at this point I'd probably start it over and just enjoy it again from the beginning. But it was a lot of fun, and actually the soundtrack is so good. I was listening to some bits off the soundtrack, and it's like, God, I got to get back into this game.
Oh
It's
yeah, and
so good.
I played it when it first came out on the PS4 there because that was right when the pandemic happened. We got sent home,
Yeah.
and when I got sent home, I didn't have any work because they didn't have a VPN set up for our job. So for like the first month, we didn't have to do any actual work. So all we did was play video games
Oh, that's
nonstop for
brilliant.
30 days.
That is brilliant. I mean, aside from the stress of like not knowing what was going on with the world, but I
Oh,
mean,
I didn't care. You have to stay home and still get paid. It's like, okay.
okay.
Oh, shucks. I'm going to decompress and realize I'm actually burnt out.
Yeah.
I mean, my heart goes out to the people who kind of their lives became more difficult because of the pandemic, but my
Yeah.
life became so much better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very there's some disparity there between those who benefited and those who didn't when it comes to
Yeah.
post pandemic world, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But we're not
Well,
here to talk about the pandemic. We're here to talk about SimCity, Brian.
are we? Are we
Yep.
here to talk about SimCity, Sam?
Yeah. Before we start our discussion, I will briefly overview the two games we will discuss.
Oh, it's actually one game. That
Yeah,
was
it's
my
one game.
mistake.
One game. Well, it was
I'll
released on
change that.
PC. To be fair.
To be fair,
To be fair. So yeah, well, I'll be talking about SimCity, and we'll be right back. SimCity was designed by Will Wright and published by Maxis in 1989. The game was the beginning of the many Sim titles, which includes The Sims, a best-selling franchise that spun off SimCity. Maxis, the company that created SimCity, was an independent developer until 1997, when Electronic Arts bought them. The developer would be closed by EA in 2015 after a disastrous launch of a new SimCity in 2013. The shutdown would end both Maxis, Emeryville, and the SimCity franchise. SimCity is a real-time city management simulator. In the game, the player acts as the city's mayor and must build it from the ground up. As the player progresses, new items and buildings become unlocked. The player must also manage crises such as natural disasters, balance finances, levy taxes, and build roads. The development of SimCity began in 1985 and was inspired by Will Wright's first game, Raid on Bungling Bay. He discovered he enjoyed creating maps more than playing the game. During development, he learned he enjoyed the intricacies of urban planning. The first version of SimCity was developed for the Commodore 64 under the name Micropolis. It was considered an unusual game since it could not be won or lost, causing publishers to lack confidence in the ability to market such a game. After Maxis agreed to publish the game, they approached Broderbund in 1988 to clear rights to the game. Broderbund saw how much fun the game was and signed Maxis to distribute it. SimCity was released on Amiga and Macintosh, followed by IBM PC and Commodore 64 in 1989. SimCity was released in 1990 on the Super Nintendo. In 1991, an enhanced game version was released on Windows 3.0 and 3.1 using Windows GDI and adding new sounds and music. The success of SimCity was unexpected and led to SimCity 2000 in 1993. The Super Nintendo version had some unique features, including an attack by a large Bowser in place of Godzilla. After achieving a city of 500,000 people, a Super Mario statue could be unlocked for the player to place in their city. Special buildings such as expo centers, casinos, large parks, and amusement parks were also included. A bank was added that would allow a player to take a loan of $10,000. The game also included two new scenarios, Las Vegas and Freeland. Finally, Dr. Wright, a character based on Will Wright himself, was added as an advisor.
and that is a little bit about SimCity from Sam. We're going to get into this game, but first we asked our Discord members what they thought of SimCity.
That's right. We got one comment this week from Sir Francis Cake. And Sir Francis Cake says, I loved this game as a kid, and it started my addiction for these management simulation games. I think the music in this is highly underrated, and it also taught me the hard lesson of not to get into too much debt or you will be absolutely screwed. The monster attacks were always so much fun. Also, shout out to SimCity 2000. That was also excellent. I played both games on the PC as I did not have a Super Nintendo.
I tried the computer version, like the original version of SimCity,
Mm-hmm.
and it was rough.
Is it? Yeah, because
Like
the
the
Super
Super
Nintendo
Nintendo
one.
version, yeah, they fixed a lot. Like the original was pretty. I mean, you have to have a taste for really old games, but
Yeah,
again, SimCity holds up.
that's got to be kind of a rarity, right? Where like something comes out on the PC and then gets ported to console, and the console one is better.
Well, this is the only SimCity, in my opinion, that actually translated well to consoles. Like all the other ones there, they just don't feel right. And I play SimCity
Yeah.
4 a lot. Like I still love that game. And I will only play it on PC, and I think it's only available on PC, so there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I was
But
trying to rack my brain and figure out because I know I
yeah,
rented what? Oh, I know I rented a SimCity game when I was younger, and yeah, I think it was a PlayStation one, so it must have been SimCity 2000. But yeah, it just doesn't. It's not the same feel as this game for sure.
yeah, 2000 was the one that everybody was all hemming and hawing about.
Yeah.
All
So
right,
let's get into
so
it.
let's get into the discussion there. Let's start off. Why did we choose this game, Sam? Why was this game on our list?
This was a game that I believe you played as a youngin, correct?
All the time, and I got a great
Yeah.
story that my brother still hates me for.
Oh, great. Yeah, I did not have as much experience with this game, although I've dabbled with it a little bit. But my main like um, computer, like simulation or strategy, like kind of pseudo building game was Civilization 2. So like my game like this is Civilization 2. I did not
Oh
play
yeah,
too much of
Civ
the
2 is a
Sim.
great game.
Yeah, I did not play too much SimCity. I'm gonna try not to call it The Sims because it is definitely not The Sims.
No, The Sims is a completely different property. Well,
Yes.
it's based off of this with the simoleons and all that stuff, but no, though The Sims is something completely different.
Yeah. So I will try to correct myself whenever I catch myself saying The Sims. But anyways, what history? Let's get this story. What did you do
The
to your brother?
story, yeah. So when I was young, we I don't remember if we owned it or we rented it. I think we owned this game. And my brother has this weird thing where he got level 99 of all of the characters on Final Fantasy 2 because he likes
Mhm.
to be a completionist when he does a game.
Yeah.
He plays the fuck out of everything he plays, and this is why he's about 15 years behind on gaming right now.
Yeah.
But he to gain money, we didn't know about there's a code in this game or a secret way to actually get like a buttload of money, but we didn't know about it at the time. So what he did is he made his city profitable, then he went to bed
Oh.
and he left the Super Nintendo on. So I would always wake up before him, and I went downstairs into the basement there, and I started playing because he had all this money, like just an absolute bucket load of money there. And stupid me spent all the money but forgot to save the game first.
Oh no.
So he wakes up. He's expecting to have like $1 million. He has no money. I'm hiding behind the couch because I know I'm about to get a beating. And he just sits there and he loses it. But
Oh man.
this
Oh
is
man.
this is not long after like that. I just said he got to level 99 with all of his characters in Final Fantasy 2.
Yeah.
I saved over that game too. So this is not long after that. My brother has no faith in me with video games.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm sure like you set that up and then like it's almost like when you wake up it's like Christmas morning because you know that you've got all like all the money
Oh
on your
yeah.
Sims game because you like
Yeah.
outsmarted the game.
Oh yeah, pretty much. And he had a great amount. Like he was getting 10 grand and a year in the game.
That's
So he
crazy.
turned off disasters. He set it up so you get 10 grand every was it like 10 15 minutes when the year
Yeah.
cycles there. And then you go to sleep for 8 to 10 hours and you wake up and you expect to be rich. And he
Yeah, that
wasn't.
that yearly tax menu that pops up, like if you just kind of sit there, I noticed it'll eventually just go away and continue
Oh, you can
running.
turn it off completely. You just do auto budget in the menu.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
Oh yeah.
awesome. Yeah. So you don't even have
Like
to deal with that.
once you get everything set up and you're making money every year, you just turn on auto budget there, and then it'll just cycle the next year without even popping it up.
Oh wow, yeah. When I had heard about these strategies of like when you mentioned, just let it sit for a couple hours or whatever, it's like, yeah, but like doesn't that menu pop up and get in your way? But yeah.
Oh, I never thought about telling you about all the great options that you could have checked yourself. Like you can actually
Oh.
speed up the year as well. Did you know
Yeah.
that?
I saw that, yeah. Well, not just game speed, but is it like something deeper than, because you can change the game speed to slow it down or speed it up, but there's only like 3 speeds on it.
Yeah, and it doesn't go very fast at the top speed, so I always
No.
set it to the top speed so at least something will happen.
Yeah. Um
But
yeah, it's a good game. I don't have any other anecdotes or any history with it aside from that, but like that is a classic story.
no, the
And
only other anecdote was when we looked up the manual for this, it was 84 pages long and it explained everything. I know how to do
oh,
my taxes because of that manual.
oh yeah, it's like, yeah, it's like it comes with, probably should have come with, you remember those like For Dummies books that were really popular back in the 90s?
Yeah.
Like it should have come with that, like just the cartridge and SimCity for Dummies, and it's like, uh yeah, thick ass
Yeah, pretty
book.
much. It
Holy
was a
shit.
very detailed manual, and reading through that thing pretty much sets you up for life.
Yeah, it is a nice manual though, because I mean, like it goes into every stage, like the town, the what is it, village, town, and city, stages of the game and different,
Yeah.
things that can possibly happen, and walks you through all the scenarios, and it's very well done.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good stuff, and it tells you kind of gives you a story, but there's not a big story in this game. It's
No.
pretty simple. It's you're the mayor of your own town, and your goal is to build a megalopolis of a city of 500K people. And when I was posting pictures there, I think
Mhm.
in a day and a half I got to 100K, and I was pretty much gaining about 20,000 people per hour, give or
Oh,
take.
that's awesome. Yeah, I could not, in the limited time that I spent with it this week, I did not get anywhere close to that. but but I see the appeal, because like if you're just kind of dicking around with this game, and like your town kind of fizzles out and you run out of money, it's like scrap it and try again, and
Yeah.
maybe you'll come up with a different idea the next time, and it's just completely different every time.
Well, there's little tricks to help your town grow. Like
Yeah.
when you put down your residential or your commercial areas, you build them into squares of 8 blocks because they come down into 3 by 3 squares where you can have up to 9 houses on them.
Yep.
But you take those blocks and you build like a 3 by 3 square, leaving the center open. And when you get some of the gifts and stuff like that, you can plop them down in the middle, and they'll help. Oh, excuse me, help them grow.
Yeah.
It
Yeah. This
it was the strategy they use. That's how you make the town grow pretty quick.
Yeah, and all these strategies are like outlined in the manual. So
Yeah, I
there's
mean
like a
that's
lot
where
of
I
different
learned it from.
stuff that you can, yeah, there's so much different stuff that you can learn by, reading. That's why part of like my old man soapbox or whatever, like, you know, I really miss that aspect of not only just physical games, but like just like having the physical manual, and now everything is moved
I
to like,
miss game manuals. Like
yeah.
I miss you know, you open up a game there, like you take the Exacto knife there and you perfectly cut it open, and then you pop it in. There's this crisp manual, and
Oh yeah.
you open it up there and you get that kind of it's almost like a cracking as you break the spine just enough to open it and read it.
Yeah, it's like
The
it's just
smell of
fresh.
nostalgia comes out.
Yeah, fresh pressed manual is just,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Then for some reason, like 2 minutes later, the manual is all ripped and torn and worn out, and it's just like you still love it.
Yeah, I don't have any of my uh original, games from when I was a kid. So like, yeah, all the manuals are long gone too, so.
The ones I got are my PlayStation 1 and PS2 game manuals, and they're still good. But I got a lot of players' guides as well, and
Oh man.
same
Yeah, those are
feeling.
all gone.
Nothing beats opening up a player's guide that's been around longer than my kid has.
Yeah. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I do have my PlayStation games. So, yeah, there are some manuals there, but
Oh yeah.
for sure I miss those.
All right,
Um
so the story again is very simple, as we just got into. The only NPC you kind of run into is Dr. Wright, who's based off of Will Wright, the creator of the game, and all he does is pop in and give you advice. He doesn't affect anything in the game.
Yeah, and it even says this in the manual that like Dr. Wright will usually say something, but he doesn't necessarily give you all of the hints. Like he'll
No,
say something kind of benign like people don't like to pay high taxes, but then he
no
won't.
shit, Doctor Wright.
Yeah. It's like that's not helpful. Like
Yeah,
people think their property values are too low, and then it's like, well, you got to figure out, different things to do to help counteract that.
yeah, and it's rudimentary. Like it's a very simple system, but they improved on it as things went on. Like you play SimCity 4. You kind of have the council of assholes, I call them, people who always bitch at you. It's like, there's too many roads, you need more rails.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this game was simple. It just had Dr. Wright, who was built specifically into the Super Nintendo version of the game, just as a character, and his advice is easily ignored. I never actually paid attention to him. He pops up that window there, is like, oh my god, crime is really bad, but I have 40,000 police stations. I don't know what else to do.
Right. Yeah. There comes a point where like you've done what you need to do, and then you just have to kind of you know, let it play out as far as, you're not going to necessarily build like a fourth police station.
Well, oh god, I so like after you build so many police stations, you get a police headquarters. The same with fire departments.
Yeah.
And when I was playing through my playthrough there, I had about 15 police stations and two police headquarters, and my crime was still high.
Yeah. It's like sometimes it just is like, it's all
Why?
based
Like,
on,
if the police aren't going to solve the crime, why are they even here?
yeah, it's corrupt. It's like Serpico, like,
Oh yeah,
but
Serpico. It's like modern day police.
it's a game within a game. Like there's like some shady like bad like dirty cop stuff going on in SimCity sometimes, but sometimes you build the police stations and it helps.
I really wish you could bribe the police in the game. I would just add a whole new level to it.
Yeah, like maybe like a ROM hack of this game. You know how like they make the Pokemon games that are like, Pokemon hentai or whatever. Like they
Pokemon.
could.
What is it with you and the hentai?
It's a weird fascination. I want to play one of these games.
Oh god, like I'm gonna have to buy one on Steam, and you know how who's on your friend list can see what you buy. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, Brian bought the Dirty Slut 7, the hentai game. It's like, oh shit, these people are gonna think I bought all 6 before it.
Yeah. Oh, it comes in a humble bundle.
Humble bundle. Oh, I don't need these extra codes. Let's post them in the Discord for
Yeah.
other.
Who wants all these hentai games?
Oh god.
All right, sorry to have brought that up. Let's keep going here.
Yeah. Pokemon hentai is it's not something we should talk about in
No, I
polite
did find no, no,
conversation.
no, no. I did find a recent I didn't mean hentai. I think I threw that word out there and it's not the correct word, but I did find um like a ROM hack of Pokemon where they replace the sprites with like cute anime girls that are like dressed up like the Pokemon.
Okay. All right, we're moving on. I am just let's not get into this. Oh god, what's your full thoughts on SimCity, Sam? Like what are your how do I put this? What's your kind of overall opinion without giving away everything?
It's a great game. It's like I was saying, because I didn't play it as a kid, so I didn't have that kind of memory of, I was trying to kind of figure out these strategies and the best way to, like my first couple of attempts at cities were a fucking nightmare. They just
Yeah.
looked horrible. Like everything was in the wrong spot. And like I would build stuff and then realize like, oh, this needs to be way bigger. And then I don't have room to put, like roads and rail and stuff. And actually the first time I wanted it to look really cool. So I had like double road like boulevards and stuff, and it's like, oh, I'm paying per road like segment every time, and it was like I was in the negative because I would be paying more in the upkeep than I would get in taxes. And then I tried
Jesus.
to raise the taxes and I pissed everyone off. So it's like there's so much to this that you can you can just play and replay, and it's different every time. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, and it's one of the charms of the game is every time you play through it, it's a little bit different, and you kind of learn from the last experience. From my experience, have learned how to put down a road and a rail, so spacing things out properly, doing the blocks of 8 there, and you just have this almost near perfect city grid for the first little while, and you don't have to do a lot of upkeep and maintenance there, and then you just start making money and go to bed
Yeah.
and save your file over, or forget to save the file while your brother sleeps.
Yikes! Don't do that.
Yeah, Super Nintendo graphics. I love the graphics in this game. It's very simple, but you know what? It is exactly what you need to sit down and just enjoy like this Zen experience. There's no stress in this game. Even with the disasters, there's no stress.
Yeah. Oh, this kind of goes along with the graphics, but we skipped over because I got us sidetracked with hentai. The levels, there are like 1,000 maps. That was incredible.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
how could you ever like play all of them? Plus, and part of the reason why the book is like so long is there's like a little thumbnail of each fucking map
No, only
in the manual.
150 of them.
There's 150.
Yeah, in the manual I counted them. There's 150 examples. They don't go through one through
Oh, right.
1,000.
But there's a ton. Yeah, like yeah, of course they didn't. Oh my gosh, what am I like? I suddenly can't do math right now. Like you wouldn't be able to fit 1,000 manuals in a
No, the car would
5-page manual.
drag on its way home with the manual that size.
Yeah. But still, like 1,000. That's incredible. Like I understand that it's just they're not randomly generated. They're definitely saved right on there, and they probably don't really take up that much space. But
No,
but
I
still, that
imagine like it just they're all based on a grid system, so it probably just tells like
yeah.
this is water, this is not. That's probably all it does.
But that just gives you so many options to
Yeah,
like you could
map
just
69 sucks, by the way.
yeah, nice. How about
Nice.
420?
I never got to that one.
No, because you do have to kind of scroll up for a while. So like I imagine like there's I wonder if there's maps in this game that no one's ever played because they're
At this
so
point,
fucking
I
many.
think no, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like how could someone possibly have like scrolled all the way through and been like, I'm gonna do number
Oh, you know, people out there. There's probably a YouTube video of a guy like, "Hey, I played every map and beat it on SimCity," and then there's like a 40-hour video of him playing every map.
oh god, that would be the most boring YouTube channel ever. I'm sorry, this is a fun game, but I don't want to watch someone play every single map. That would be my personal hell.
Oh yeah, this like I said, this I've tried streaming this game. It's fun to play, not fun to watch. It is so slow.
Yeah, it
But
would make for easy streaming though, like if you got to like chat with,
oh, if you
people that
have
are
an
yeah.
audience there where
Oh,
you're having like a chat with them, sure. But I get maybe 2 people showing up at any given time.
yeah, it's a slow roll for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a game to sit on the couch and just kind of sit back and sip a few beers, and you're not stressing out. You're basically this is the pot of Super Nintendo games.
Yeah, that's well put. Very well
It
put.
just chills you out.
Yeah. It's like
That's
a
all
zen
based. What's
it's a rock
going?
garden.
What's that?
It's a rock garden. Like one of
Rock
those little
garden.
zen gardens that you can have on your desk.
Oh yeah, I used to have one of those until I
Yeah.
accidentally tipped it over and all the sand landed on the ground, and now it's all vacuumed
Oh,
up.
that's not stress relieving. That's just
No,
a
it
bunch of sand.
wasn't. No,
Yeah.
I was the opposite of Zen at that moment. I was yelling.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Who the fuck put this? Like all my Zen just like floated out of me there, and it was just stress. My heart stopped. I clutched my chest.
Yeah, that's like a box of stress waiting to happen. Just like an open thing of sand. Just
Oh yeah,
anyways, yeah. We were gonna talk about music, I think, right?
I think yeah, we're on the music now, and the music is Zen as well. I'm gonna say it's very, it's not great music, but
Yeah, it's fine.
it's enough that it sits in the background and it doesn't annoy you because you're gonna listen to these songs for a while. Because every level, like you have the starting music, then you have the village of 2,000 people, then a 10,000 people, 100,000, and 500,000. The music changes on your level of city.
Yeah, I liked that. That was kind of cool because like
Yeah, and
it
it
it's such a
never
yeah.
gets annoying. That's what I liked.
No, it's such a fanfare when you go to the next. It's like you are now a town or whatever. You're now a city, and then the music changes, and it's like it. even though it's very subtle music and it's quite honestly pretty forgettable. While you're playing it, it's like, oh, like it just changes the vibe. Like, well,
Yeah,
now this is a city. Well, it feels like a city because the music is different.
yeah, a little more action packed there. You get the synthesized piano going off, and you're enjoying life a little bit more. You realize traffic has gotten a bit heavier,
Yeah,
but you turn the game off, and it doesn't sit in the back of your brain like some games do. Some games, the music just stays with you.
right.
This game is not one of them.
No, it's not, but it's fine.
Yeah, but the gameplay. So very simple gameplay in this game, and you just kind of move around using the controller, like the D-pad there, and then you have a menu on the left side that lets you pick kind of what you're going to place down. And we'll get into that.
Yeah.
And you have a menu on the top, which is your settings. So it's not overly complicated. You can pick this up and start playing right away and kind of figure it out as you go along. And since the losing criteria is you go bankrupt, it's not really anything you should stress about because when you go bankrupt, you just start another city.
Yeah, and it's gonna take a long time to go bankrupt. It's like a slow death.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you'll
because you
probably
lose
like,
like 20 bucks a year and you have 10 grand to start with.
yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah, you're not playing it all the way until you go bankrupt unless like you want to, I guess. But
Yeah,
like,
well, I
I,
think I
yeah,
can't remember how far into the negative you have to go before the game just finally says, you know what, you're not a mayor, get the fuck out of here.
yeah, and I would have probably restarted by that point and been like, oh, I fucked up this run. Like,
Yeah,
I'll
and that's the
wipe it.
thing is you can always restart, and that's what the great thing about this game is.
Yeah, could you imagine like, uh, gosh, that'd be like a great like weird science fiction short story, like just a guy going about his day or whatever, and then like all of a sudden like a bulldozer comes and plows his house over, or like his life gets deleted because like the mayor of the town was playing SimCity and decided to just delete everyone.
Yeah, I don't know if you don't know this because you weren't big into the game back in the day, but you ever see those cross buildings in the residential areas, and you get like 10 of them? They just look like a big cross. Well, they're hospitals, and they
Yeah.
give you no people. They're just hospitals, and the only thing you can do is plow them down and put another residential block on there and hope you get houses the next time.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah,
I never
it's
know.
funny
So
because I always felt bad like destroying 50 hospitals just because I want more people to live there, and then I realized I'm just like every modern day mayor.
well, like it doesn't like for the game, like the game was not sophisticated enough to be like your people get sick and so you need to have X amount of hospitals. Like they already kind of took care of that with like the crime rate and the fire department or whatever.
Yeah,
They weren't going to add another wrinkle to that. So it's like, well, randomly these hospitals come up and like if you know to exploit that, you could just mow it over and try again.
yeah, that's basically it. And nothing sucks worse than like taking out a hospital, then another one pops up right away, and you have to take that one out. It's just
Oh, yeah.
oh, this one was a cancer ward for children.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. How terrifying. It's like, oh, we had to say
Yeah.
goodbye to little Timmy because the mayor wiped the whole hospital out.
Oh, we didn't get enough Facebook likes, Timmy. We can't deal with that cancer. Here comes the bulldozer.
Oh, jeez.
So, what'd you think of the difficulty of this game? I know you said you restarted a few times there. Did you find it overly hard?
No, and there's ways to make it harder. Like I recognize that I was kind of taking it easy because I wanted to just get a feel for it. So I definitely started on the easy mode that gives you the most money to kind of play around with. But there's definitely ways to ramp up the challenge. You know, you can start with less money. Um, right away you have to build a power plant to power whatever building blocks you're making, and you can choose the coal, which pollutes more, and or the nuclear, which is more expensive right away but pollutes less. um
But also runs a risk of a nuclear meltdown.
yeah, that is one of the disasters. um no, it's not overly difficult, but like I said, there's ways to make it more challenging. So it's like it's kind of cool. You can play those those easier modes and have more money to play with and kind of figure out how to make it profitable, like you or your brother did. And then next time, start with less money and see if you can replicate your success.
Yeah, and well, the funny part is the difficulties don't actually change anything in the game. It's just how much money you start with.
Right, but that makes
N-
a huge difference because
Well,
it's
it does
yeah,
because a power plant, like the coal power plant, costs 3 grand just to start out with. So you only have 2 grand to build a profitable city, and you have to
yeah.
build residential, commercial, and industrial in order to actually get money. So it's going to be a slow burn to actually get back up in the black there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like each how much was it? Was it 50 for like the $50 or whatever for the residential area and
Yeah, but you'll have to tack on top of that because you have auto bulldoze on by default. So it actually costs you money to get rid of the trees that are
right.
on the map. So if you have like the $50 residential area, but half of it's filled with trees, you got to tack on the cost of bulldozing those trees.
Yeah, so that's going to be like 60 or whatever.
Yeah, 62.55. I don't know.
Yeah.
Plus tip,
Plus
taxes.
tip, taxes, finder's fee.
Yeah, finder's fee. There you go. Hentai collection.
Yeah.
Oh man, but let's say you build that big city there, big wonderful city, and you decide it's time to destroy it. You can actually get a bunch of disasters,
Yeah.
and there's an easy way to avoid some of them, but some of them there, it's just if they come, you just have to rebuild. So I'll name them off, and Sam, pipe in whenever you want to talk about any one of them.
Yeah.
First one being the flood. There, if you have rivers, it just basically screws your shoreline. So don't build too close to the shore, and you're fine by that. You have fires, but you just build fire stations. Which one of the tricks of this game is not to build a fire station until you have a fire. Otherwise, you're spending money for no reason.
Which is kind of funny to think about, like, you want to prevent fires. It's like, no, you wait for the fire to happen and then you
Yeah,
prevent it.
exactly. Like, you know what? Screw Scruff McGruff.
Yeah. No, that's the crime dog.
Oh, that's a crime dog. Who's the
Yeah.
fire dog?
That's Smokey the Bear.
Oh, Smokey the Bear. That's
He's
right.
he's
Jesus.
not even a dog.
No, he's a dog if I say he's a dog.
Yeah.
All right. Next, you have the earthquake, which will knock down random buildings or kind of screw your city in a kind of a bigger sense.
Yeah, so I had as long as the earthquake is not as bad as those fucking skulls from ActRaiser,
Mm, yeah,
just
those skulls will forever haunt you.
destroy everything. Uh, One question though, because I did turn on a couple of these, but I didn't turn on all of them, so I didn't get to see all of them. But like for like a flood or an earthquake, I mean, they just kind of happen, and then you just rebuild, after it's done, right? You don't.
Yeah, when things fall down, you go bulldoze the damaged area, and then you put in a new zone there, and it rebuilds. And
Yeah, it's not like, well, the river's flooding, so you have to like throw, I don't know, like sandbags or something. You
no,
just let it
it's more
happen.
along the lines of like with the fire, you can put it out by bulldozing the area around the fire so it has nowhere to spread to. Same thing with the flood.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh
But
gosh, can you imagine your neighbor's house is on fire? It's like, we're gonna destroy your house so this doesn't spread.
yeah, no, I think that should be done just to prevent fires from my house.
Yeah, God, SimCity logic is just so fucking funny. Like
I
with
love it.
you,
It's just beautiful. It
yeah,
solves so many problems with bulldozers.
yeah, you just destroy it. It's fine. No
Yeah,
one lives
exactly.
there.
Well, you've heard the story of the killdozer, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, it's kind of like that. The guy solved all his problems with a armored up bulldozer.
yeah. I mean, he was the mayor of a town, didn't you know?
Yeah, exactly. He just got stressed. He didn't
Yeah,
play SimCity.
right.
But next disaster we have going on is the plane crash, and this only happens if you have a airport. And
Hmm.
apparently, I was reading one of the ways to avoid any damage from the plane crash, because if it crashes in the middle of a residential neighborhood and takes out that cancer ward at the hospital, you
Yeah.
know, it's going to cause you some damage. But if you have the airport right next to water, the likely chance that the plane will crash in the water and save you some money.
Cool. That's
Yeah,
not
all those
morbid at
people can
all.
die. 250 souls on board, but at least the mayor's house is fine.
Right. There we go. That's the rub.
Yeah, well, you can't you get your house early on in the game. You can't have damage to that. It's
No.
irreplaceable.
Is it really? I
No, I
never.
have no idea.
Oh gosh, because like I was just thinking, like, yeah, if one of these disasters happens to the mayor's house, around the mayor's house, like I would imagine they would let you rebuild it, I guess, or
Well,
maybe not.
don't you know that the mayor's house in any city is the only road that gets plowed right away? It's the only road that gets its upkeep every year. It's,
Oh yeah,
nothing
you don't
happens
want
to
to
the
see the
mayor's
state of my
house.
alley right now behind my house. I cracked the bumper on my car trying to get out because there's two giant ice blocks like right across from me. There's
Oh,
no
I remember
room.
those days.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, no, my heart goes out to your bumper.
Yeah, yeah. It's no good.
Yeah. But on top of bumpers, we have tornadoes. Actually,
Tornadoes,
tornadoes and the monster attack, which in this game is a Bowser.
which is
And they
really
kind of
cool.
do
Yeah.
the same thing. They just kind of go from one point across your map and destroys everything in its path. So,
So does the tornado, it seems like the tornado, like as they do, should follow like kind of a single path. Bowser, I did turn on Bowser because I really wanted to see it, and he just kind of like aimlessly walked around and then wandered into like the northern part of my city and just like did a little loop and then wandered off to the east. And
yeah, and
then he was
that's
gone.
kind of the difference I was going to get into is the
Okay.
tornado's a straight line and the
Yeah.
Bowser's kind of random, but they do the same damage. They just take out what's ever in their path.
Yeah. So it like knocks stuff down. It does start fires though. Bowser does.
Oh, they'll all start fires, all
Yeah.
depending. Like every except for the flood, which is water, everyone comes with kind of a fire as a secondary.
Especially the flood.
Especially the flood. Yeah, water causes fire. What
Yeah.
the fuck? And finally, when you build a nuclear power plant, you can have a nuclear meltdown.
Yeah. Just Homer fell asleep on the job.
Yeah, exactly. And this one's kind of unique because not only will it destroy everything around it, it'll also make the land unbuildable for a while.
Ooh.
So yeah,
So then like what happens to the power plant though? Do you have to build a new power plant
well,
or is
obviously you have to build a new power plant. You just lost your power.
yeah, I know, but like it doesn't self-repair. So like you have a choice to make. Like you can either decide to use coal because it's cheaper or that's all you can afford, or you have to
Sweet, sweet
drop
coal.
what?
Sweet, sweet coal.
Yeah, sweet coal. But you have to drop, a good chunk of money on a power plant then. That's a tough one. That's probably of all of those disasters, that's probably the most financially terrible one.
Yeah, and especially if like your map is full of, you built from corner to corner and you have the nuclear meltdown there and now you got to rebuild, but you have all this like dead zone you can't build in for I think it's 50 years.
That's crazy. And that's a long time in the game.
Yeah, and I mean, I've never actually like I've had the nuclear meltdown happen, but I've never actually stayed in the game long enough to see the results of it kind of healing itself. So,
Yeah, it happens and you're like, well, fuck. And then you
oh,
just
this
start it over.
game's over.
Yeah. Well, it was fun.
Yeah. Um. All right, I'm gonna kind of jump ahead in the notes here. Let's get into the stuff you can build before we get into the scenarios.
Yeah, that sounds like a
So,
good
on
good
the left
idea.
side menu, like I said earlier in the game, you have two menus. You have the one on the left and you have the one on the top. The left side one is all the stuff you can build, and there is, I don't know, about 15 options,
Mhm.
16 if you do math and realize there's two columns. So, starts out with the
Yeah.
bulldozer. This one is just if you want to destroy anything, you do the bulldozer. Uh, Next row is roads and rails. Roads, obviously, for cars, rails for the train. Build enough rails, you get yourself a gift. Uh, They kind of want you not to use roads as much, but if you don't have enough roads, they complain. It's just one of those non-win or no-win scenarios.
Yeah, a real balancing act cuz like
Yeah.
the rails were nice because it alleviated the traffic problem and then I think also there was no additional upkeep on rails. The roads are the ones that you have to pay the upkeep on per year.
Yeah.
And that can be a big expense.
Yeah, absolutely can. Then you have power lines. Power lines are kind of something that really isn't as big in the newer Sim cities, but this one you had to connect anything that was in a gap with a power line. And when you built your city there, I'd always built like backup power lines, so if something went awry there, at least the whole city would be connected. But brownouts happened in this game way too fast.
Yeah, and it's like there were a couple times when or like for the disaster portion, like when I had Bowser go through and he destroyed some of the power lines, it was like you can reconnect it and then there might still be like a little fire going on and it destroys it. It's like you have to like go through and try to figure out where you're not connected, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And anytime you're not connected, the area will have the little blinking power symbol, the what's it called, lightning bolt.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
that is
power
power
lines are
lines. They
tricky.
are annoying, but they are necessary.
Yeah, I would sometimes run into some frustration with the way that the game handled um like putting roads, rails, and or power lines over each other. There were different it takes some trial and error to figure out like how you can make these things crisscross, because like sometimes it won't work, and then it's
Yeah,
like
and
you kind of committed to like building in a certain way and you're like, well, fuck, now I can't
yeah,
like
you can't
connect
go
this
over
one.
corners in the roads and the rails and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it gets kind of annoying if your city is like demanding that you put these corners in.
Yeah, it's like, well, I can't, you fucker. Okay, so just deal with it. Go
Yeah,
around.
you know what? Go to the cancer ward and steal power from them.
Yeah, just figure it out.
Next option is your parks, and these are just like one tile little green areas. And the benefit of the parks is it actually reduces pollution. So if you put them around like your industrial zones and your power plants, it will reduce pollution a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Get enough of them, you get a park, a
You can
big park.
reduce your carbon footprint.
Exactly. It's all about being green. Here
Yes.
on Retrotopia, we want you to be green. So go punch a commie.
Jesus.
I had no end for that. I just said whatever came to my mind. So the next three options are your three zones. You got residential, commercial, and industrial. Residential obviously increases your population because that's where people live. Commercial gives them a place to shop, which also increases your population because people want to come in if they have places to shop and work.
hmm
And industrial is where you actually have your, I guess, manufacturing, which it provides just solely jobs.
Yeah, and there's like that little meter in the top corner of the screen that shows like your levels of each, and you want to try to keep them all up above the line, basically. So
Well,
if
you
one
you
drops,
actually want to keep that balance. You don't want to actually see the colors.
you don't want to see the colors at all.
No, because if it's up high, it means there's a high demand for more of those zones. So you got to build more. So you want to keep them all like level and disappeared in the middle of that little thing there.
Oh, I was way off. Whatever.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, I always figured like whenever they were like low, I needed to do more. But maybe that's the opposite. Maybe I needed to take some away. I don't know. But yeah, there's a little meter that you can watch to make sure
yeah,
that you're balanced, and I don't know how to read it, so
yeah. It it can help you, but this game everybody always wants stuff all the time. So even when you build like 1,000 houses or in 200 industrial zones and like a shopping mecca of the world, they'll be
yeah.
like, we want more.
Well, yeah, here's the funny thing, right? Is that this is kind of a not simplistic. It's a complex, well constructed game, but that just goes to show how well constructed it is, that like it does simulate a real life town, and that you are never going to make everyone happy. So you're just trying to do what you can to make it profitable, make the most amount of people happy, right? And that's, there's always going to be some asshole who's complaining, but as long
Mm,
as you make all the other assholes happy, then the one complaining asshole can go pound sand.
yeah, he can go fuck himself. Because that's like real life. If you don't like it, go to hell.
But that just goes to show how well constructed this game is, because like a
Yeah,
more simplistic game would be like, you made everyone happy and that's it, cool.
here's some enjoyable music there to set off the pleasure zone of your brain.
Yeah.
Yay! Do 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 do. But next to we have the police station and the fire station, and these cost you money per unit
hmm
every tax season. So it is wise to keep them as little as possible, but at the same time, you're going to require 10,000 police stations because crime will always be high. Gotta love that crime.
Gotta love crime. Crime
Uh,
does pay, I guess.
yeah, the first thing I've always noticed that the citizens bitch about when the town gets big enough is a stadium. Citizens demand a stadium will appear at the bottom of your screen non-stop until you put a goddamn stadium up.
In real life, though, they should make it so that like they hold a referendum to see whether or not we can use like municipal taxes to pay for a stadium.
Yeah, but in reality is they're going to cut the food program for kids at school and then pay for that stadium because, USA,
Hey,
USA.
you know
I,
what?
I only say that because it's better than Canada.
Yeah, you know what? As long as it keeps the Brewers in town, like fine,
You
take the money
fucking
from the
kids.
kids and put it in the stadium.
You can go to school hungry. It's a goddamn tradition.
But you want to go to the ball game, little Timmy? Even though you don't have lunch? I don't know why we're picking on little Timmy. He's
I don't know
he's
why we're
got
picking on kids. Like first we're like cancer ward, and then
well, yeah, but we use the I
school
use the
lunches.
I use the name Little Timmy twice. So like little Timmy has cancer and also no lunch because I took it from him.
Oh my god, Timmy's gonna have a horrible life.
Poor kid. I'm sorry, little
Uh,
Timmy.
but the other thing that'll kill Timmy is your two power plants. You have the coal
Yeah.
power plant, high pollution, low power. Then you have the nuclear power plant, which has a way too high of a risk of a nuclear meltdown, but provides a good amount of power and low pollution.
Yeah. It's a
And
long game.
yeah, and I know the reactors that we build here in Canada, they're pretty good at not melting down. So I don't know why, like after what was it, Mile Long, Mile Long Island there? What was it called in New York?
Oh fuck. Uh
I can't
three
think of it,
mile
but you
three
know what
mile
I'm talking
island?
about, where they had that meltdown. They got Chernobyl and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
everybody's all scared about nuclear power. But
3 Mile Island.
there you go,
I
Three
was
Mile
right.
Island.
I was right.
I knew you'd get it from me, Sam. You are my hero.
Yeah.
You're the opposite of Timmy.
Yeah, Timmy, you go to hell.
Yeah, fuck you, Timmy. But anyways, you got your two power plants. You just have to build them. They'll tell you when you need to build more. They'll constantly have brownouts and until you build one, and then eventually you'll just have 500 power plants powering like 10 homes.
I hate the term brownout. It just makes me think like everyone took a shit. Like everyone's toilet
Situation
is
Brown.
clogged.
It's Situation Brown. My
Yeah.
underwear are compromised.
Yeah. Everyone's toilet clogged at the same time in the city. It's like one of the disasters.
What was the statistic I was reading? And this is like a little bit off topic, but apparently during the halftime of the Super Bowl is the single highest use of water in the United States because everybody goes to the bathroom and flushes at the same time, give or take, of course.
I believe it. Oh man, like right before the halftime show starts, but
Right
like
before Taylor Swift takes to the middle of the stage because she's hot, hot, hot right now.
yeah, yeah, because there's actually very little of the Super Bowl that you want to miss because like the commercials are good. You want to watch the game, you want to watch the halftime show and whatever. Like
Oh,
there's a very specific point in time when you can go poop.
yeah, big point of contention for us up here is we want those commercials. It's the only time we want commercials,
Yeah,
and we get the Canadian versions of commercials, and they are garbage.
yeah, because
And it's just like Super Bowl is known more for the commercials than the actual game, and
yeah,
we can't even watch them here because of stupid Canadian laws.
it's crazy how long it's been that way. Yeah, I know this is off topic, but like, man, you
Oh,
like,
screw the Super Bowl, and nobody ever watches it. Only what 50% of the United States at any given time.
yeah, yeah, that's it. Just
Yeah.
that.
All right, so let's get into the two type of specialty things you can put down. You got the seaport and you got the airport. Eventually, industry is going to demand one or both of them. Seaport has to be built by water and a boat comes out. The airport can be built anywhere, but it causes a lot of pollution and high traffic as well.
Yeah, kind of like a real airport.
Yes, exactly. We have one here in Ottawa, and it's garbage and in the middle of downtown. Well, not downtown, but it's in an inconvenient location for myself.
Tell your mayor to like bulldoze it and put it somewhere else.
I try to. I send him threatening emails all the time, and all he does is send the police to talk to me.
Oh,
What a
you wanted
dick.
another police station next to your house?
Oh yeah, there's one on each side, and crime's still high. I was robbed just leaving the house today.
So that little like Doctor Dr. Wilson or whatever his name is pops up. It's like
Dr. Wright.
Dr. Wright,
Dr.
yeah.
Wilson.
Dr. Wright. Brian's pissed about the airport again.
Yeah. He's threatening terrorist activities, and we don't like that. No. All right.
Better
we're
move
we're
it.
kind of getting a little off topic. This is
Yeah.
the type of game this is. It's like there's not a whole crap load to talk about in it, so we just tend to just zoom off
You know,
into a
we're
whole different world.
just wander.
Yeah.
You relax.
There's 15 gifts you can get into this game, and that's one of your options for building on the left-hand menu is the gifts. So you get the zoo. It improves your residential and gives you an extra $100 a year. Amusement park, same thing. Landfill, if you've run out of land to build on, this will give you something to put into water to give you an extra block to put land on. Police and fire headquarters cost you $100 a year each, but give you a little bit of a wider range of coverage. Again, you still have to build a million friggin' police stations just to barely dent crime. You get a fountain, a casino, a train station, which helps your transit, which cuts down on costs. You get an expo, a library, a windmill, city park, then your house, which you get first, and then the ultimate one would be the Mario Monument, which you get for having a megalopolis of 500,000 people.
That's really cool. I obviously didn't get that to that point, but
No, I've only seen it once, and that was when my brother got it.
yeah, after he like punched you in the face for
Oh yeah, held
ruining
me
his day.
down there, threw the phone book on my chest, and just started punching, so there was no bruising.
Yeah. That's Jesus, that's intense.
Only had that happen, not from my brother, but that's only happened to me twice in my life.
Okay.
Still friends with the guy, I like him.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And then in the game, when your budget runs out, like you spend that first $10,000 because you're playing on easy mode, you'll get a bank where you can take out a $10,000 loan, but you got to pay it back over the course of I think 10 years.
Oh.
And the bank is a game changer, but at the same time, you don't want to go into debt.
No, yeah, it's like as long as you're profitable, that might be okay, but yikes, like if you're barely profitable and then you go for the loan, like
Well, it's
ooh.
a savior. Like especially early in the game, you kind of got to build a lot more than you can afford there, and then the bank kind of bails you out, and you can take the loan out and just make yourself profitable. So it's not a bad thing. It's just you got to use it sparingly because you can take out as many loans. Like you can only have one loan at a time, but you can do it as many times as you want. And if you get yourself into trouble, then you're screwed.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's like the other thing too is like again, you're not going to get to the point where you're bankrupt before you probably get bored.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's a slow death, but by that point you're like, I'm going to go do something else.
yeah. And with the bank comes finances, and one of the things you have to do in this game is kind of manage your taxes and your budget. So you get four options: the tax rate, the transit fund, the police fund, and the fire fund. So as you build roads and police stations and fire stations, that becomes an expense per unit. But your tax rate you can adjust up and down. And if you go too low, you make no money. If you go too high, nobody shows up, and again, you make no money. So you got to find that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I did not find that sweet spot.
No, I managed. I always like to start out with bringing it down to 6% there because they seem to be happy around 7%. That's your default amount. So bring it down to 6, brings the people in, and then when you need to make a little more money, you can always bump it back up to 7. And when you're making enough money, bring it down to 5 there. Let the people have a nice time there, and then boom, back to 7.
Right.
Get them right in December there when the rate is it's about to change, and all of a sudden you make money hand over fist.
But don't change the tax rate because people don't like taxes.
Oh no, you got to play with the taxes, man.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like real life there. Like they do tax cuts and
I got kind of like scared off it because like the first time I was like, let's play with this a little bit and see like what I can do. And I think I bumped it up like a percentage or two, and then like immediately Dr. Wright was like, well, they don't like taxes. It's
no shit, Dr. Wright. I
Piss
pay
off, you little
taxes and I
weirdo.
don't like them.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're not into just the Zen-like building game, you got a bunch of scenarios you can do, and all leading up to a what I think is a pretty good reward for finishing all the scenarios.
Yeah.
Uh, First one you have. Did you play any of the scenarios first off?
I did not get a chance to, but I was very intrigued by them. I thought that was a really cool little challenge that was built into the game.
Yeah, and the scenarios are pretty simple. You basically have a pre-built city there, and a problem happens, and then you just kind of have to solve said problem using
Yes.
all the tools that you've just learned about.
As I'm looking through these, like they're funny. They're like so um cliche. Like some of them are like
Yeah, Tokyo has the Bowser attack.
yeah, and the pollution and
And the original game, it's Godzilla, so it makes sense.
yeah.
San Francisco has the earthquake because we all know that California is going to sink into the ocean in the next 10 years.
Yeah, they've got earthquake and fire because there was a fire that destroyed San Francisco too.
Was there?
Yeah, in the early
Ooh.
1900s there was a big fire. And it might have been related to an earthquake, but it was like yeah, like a combination like earthquake causing a fire like pretty much destroyed the city.
Oh, would you look at that? A little bit of history lesson here from Sam.
Yeah, there you go.
Then you got Detroit, which, no surprise, has crime.
Yeah. Sorry, Detroit. Wah, wah.
Yeah. You are what you are. You're the worst half of Windsor, Ontario.
Yeah.
Then you have Bern, which I think is a representative of Germany. I'm not 100%
No.
sure where Bern is.
Bern is in
But-
Switzerland.
Is it Switzerland?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it has bad traffic. So you just build a transit system, and then the citizens hate taxes, so you got to keep the taxes low, but of course, everybody hates taxes.
Yeah, you got to walk that tightrope of like giving people what they want without raising their taxes.
I really wish you could send out a goon squad. Don't like taxes, eh? Poof, break
Yeah.
the knee.
How would it break your kneecaps?
Now you got Rio, which is a representative of Rio de Janeiro, which
Yep.
has flooding and crime. Really showing that Brazil is, a backwater country when it's actually
and
not.
brownouts. And brownouts.
Yeah, and brownouts. Your favorite word.
Yeah.
Everybody's pooping their pants. Thank
Everyone's
you,
pooping.
Brazil.
People just be pooping.
Boston has a nuclear meltdown. I didn't even know Boston had a nuclear reactor, but then again, I don't know
think
much
they
about
do.
Boston.
Yeah, I don't think it's melted down, but
Well, no, obviously it hasn't. People still live there.
yeah, Pilgrim Nuclear Power Station. Oh, it's closed. So I guess maybe there used to be a power plant.
Okay, well, in this scenario, they have a meltdown, and it kind of destroys the city, and you have to build or redevelop in the habitable areas. And then,
Yeah, I guess that particular power plant in Boston has had a number of issues. I didn't know that, but yeah, I guess that's why.
well, this game's really on the nose, isn't it?
Yeah, they really are. I
Uh,
love this. This next one is great.
yeah, the last one is Las Vegas, and you get a UFO attack, which I'm pretty sure has happened many of times.
Well, that's a reference to Area 51, which is in that's in Nevada.
Is it in Nevada? I thought it was New Mexico.
No, that's Roswell. Roswell, New
Oh,
Mexico.
you know what? There's so many friggin' places you won't let people go down in the States. I just get them all mixed up.
Yeah. Area 51 is in.
Yes,
Nevada.
Area 51, where that guy did that Naruto run there as they were going
Yeah,
to storm
I
Area
remember that.
51. What a way to make yourself famous.
Didn't you know that you actually run faster if you do that?
I thought it was just because the animators hated drawing arm swinging.
Well, it makes you more aerodynamic when you run, and then you run faster when you just have your arms straight back.
I want to see the math on this.
Well,
You send that to me right now, Sam.
I'll show you. Don't worry.
Yeah. Once we're off the air, we'll get into a fight about it. It's like, no,
Yeah.
it's not more aerodynamic. It's less aerodynamic because wind goes down the collar of your coat.
But it does make you go faster. That's all there is to it. It's science. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna give this one to you because you said it's science.
Thank you.
As soon as you say that, the argument's over.
Yep.
All right. So you've done all the scenarios, and this is the bonus I actually like. You get this. It's called Freeland, and all it is a gigantic map with no water. So you can
Mhm.
build from corner to corner, north to south, east to west, and it's the best map if you're going for like the biggest possible city you can make. So,
That's actually really cool. Does it have like no trees and stuff too, or
well,
does it?
there's trees on it, but trees don't get in your way. We're
Yeah, if you
human
have
beings. We'll destroy the planet before we friggin' go get
right,
cold for an hour.
right. Okay, well that is really cool then, because I mean, otherwise, the only way that you could um, deal with the water if there's water on your map is doing the landfill thing, which I'm sure doesn't really happen that fast.
It's not terrible. Like once you run out of land to build on, it comes pretty frequently that he'll give you extra land.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But it costs money again, and this is just a great way just to, build without it. The only thing is you can't have a seaport because there's no water for the boat.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm gonna build one anyways. So that's it. That's pretty much the game in a nutshell. So let's just give a summary of your opinion here, Sam, about the game. Like, kind of go over everything we talked about and just kind of, bring us home.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I didn't have a lot of experience with it. I played what I could this week, but I couldn't honestly get far enough to like master it in just a week. And that's part of the beauty of it is that, looking at it from like the modern, today's lens, if you had this game as a kid and you could, jump in and, play around with it and get better at it over time, then yeah, you could really master this game and get quite good at it. And every playthrough is going to be a little bit different. Even if you go in with a plan, it's going to throw different curveballs at you because there's enough variety within the game to make it different. So it's a brilliant little game, and it's really, like I said, interesting to me that the PC version came first, but like the console version is like a better way to play it, and that's even with using a controller instead of like a keyboard and mouse interface to play the game.
They really did do the controller justice in this game. I mean, considering it's not analog or anything.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. It was pretty intuitive. Like the the B button advancing through the menus really threw me off at first, but once I get used to that, it's like the like toggling between having the menus up and taking them down and holding the Y button, I think, to scroll through the map and stuff just kind of came second nature, and it was
yeah, and if you hit
really,
start, you'd go to the top menu. If you hit
yeah,
select, you'd go to the left menu. Just
very intuitive.
yeah, once you figured it out, it was really well done.
Yeah.
All right, so what would you give this game out of 10?
I'm going to go with an 8. I don't know if I'll ever go back to it, or if maybe I'll try to play with it every now and then. But it's definitely, I see the charm in it. I see the brilliance behind it, and it's, I think overall it's just a great game.
I'm gonna agree with you. 8 out of 10 is a good score for this game. It's fun, but it's like you said, it's not something I go back to very often. Like I have good fond memories of it, and I can pick it up and play it anytime I want. But it's not something I'm going to like have a desire to play. Like I'm not going to sit there with a whole catalog of games in front of me and go, "Well, there's SimCity," especially considering I like SimCity 4 a lot better than this game.
Yeah, there were later games. Unfortunately, EA now runs this franchise, doesn't it? So
Yeah, fuck
Uh,
EA.
yeah, so however you can find to play the old classic games or like the good versions of older entries in the series, but yeah, and the other thing that I would do is really the only way to play this game is to emulate it unless you've got a copy, but this would be a really fun game to sit on the couch with a handheld and just like kind of fuck with your Sim City while you're
Yeah, and
like
that's
watching
pretty much
TV.
what I did. I
Yeah,
played it on my Asus Ally there, and
yeah, that's brilliant.
watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia at the same time, and
Perfect.
that's how I made all my money. I was just so enthralled in the show there, I didn't even notice the budget was rolling through.
Nice.
But all right, it's time to put it on our super special Retrotopia tier ranking system.
Yeah. What do you think? I'll let you go first for this
You let
one.
me go first this time. Oh man, I usually do this to you so I don't have to think too hard.
I already know what I want to do. I want to see what you'll say.
Oh, okay. Well, just gonna open up the tier list here and see what we've got already on it.
That does help, doesn't it? To kind of like use
Yeah,
that measuring stick and Like
Well,
what
I
group of
mean,
games would
our
you
S
put it with?
tier games are the Stick of Truth and Super Mario RPG. Our E tier games are Lion King and Ren and Stimpy.
Ugh, yeah.
Um, Honestly, I'd put this in the A tier.
Okay. Okay. I had B tier, but I would say like high B tier. So yeah, if we want to put
Well,
this in the A tier, I would agree with that. It is a very good game.
the reason I'd put it in the A tier is because it is a fun game. Even if it doesn't have like a strong replay value, it's a fun game. Definitely worth the playthrough that you do.
Doo doo.
But in do. All right. Anyways,
I disagree. I think it does have high replay value. Like just because I'm not going to go back to it is only because I don't have time, but I did enjoy it. And if
well, when I say it
yeah,
doesn't have high replay value, what I mean is like again, if you have a bunch of games on the shelf, this isn't the game you're going to run to because there really is no conclusion. Even after you get
yeah,
the $500,000 mega or 500,000 person megalopolis, you can still just keep playing. Like it doesn't have an end.
yeah, it's kind of like Monopoly, right? Monopoly doesn't necessarily have an end. It's like when you've taken
Monopoly
everyone to
has
the
an end.
it doesn't have like a specific end point though.
Yes, it
Like if you
does when somebody flips the board.
yeah, okay. So yes, yes. My point exactly. It's like I was about to say like Monopoly just kind of ends when everyone decides, like, you've taken us all to the cleaners, you're the winner, and this is getting kind of stale. Like it doesn't like have an end point, unless you decide there's house rules that whatever.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that one.
Yeah. So
I
it's
still think Monopoly has an end. Well, Monopoly technically does have an end when everybody's bankrupt but that one last guy.
right, but I mean, sometimes like you don't get to play that long all necessarily. It's like that's again a slow death. Like just
Yeah.
like just like Monopoly in SimCity, when you're starting to lose, you probably get bored and quit before you like actually
Oh
follow
yeah,
it
that
follow
moment
to the
where
end.
you're just like, I'm fucking done playing Monopoly, and then you start making all the worst decisions just to get rid of your money.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
oh, I'm just gonna start spending. Oh no, I'm bankrupt, even though I have all this extra land. I just flipped it and sold it for no reason.
Yeah, just yeah,
Monopoly destroys families.
it sure does.
All right, so that's gonna do it for another episode of Retrotopia. Sam, what do we have coming up next week?
Next week we're gonna be talking Animaniacs for the Super Nintendo, and I played it for a few minutes, and it's interesting. We're gonna see how that one goes. But until next time, everyone, keep on gaming.